Return my gift if you don't want me anymore, says Tonto Dike to her fiancé, who is now her enemy. Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you're seeing this channel for the very first time, thank you so much for clicking. On this video today, I'm going to be giving you guys updates about Tonto Dike and her was-to-be husband, Prince Pokrikpo. Guys, the two couples have been having series of problems, and I'm not sure that they are going to go back the same, because a lot of things have really happened within the past few days. Guys, Tonto Dike is demanding for all her gifts to be returned, even though she said she never said that to him. But Prince Pokrikpo is making headlines that she demanded for all the gifts. But Prince said that she deleted the comments from their chat, like she deleted the chat from everyone. So right now, he doesn't have evidence of that. Right now, their relationship is just by God's grace. If it's going to go back to normal, it's just by God's grace. And right now, a lot of people, like Blessing CEO, sent a message to Tonto Dike and told her right now, what you need is not a man. You need to heal. Here's the message. Open later. Blessing CEO, our #1 relationship therapist.
My name is Okoro.
Please watch till the end and help me give this video a mega thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next video. Check out for new video.
You heard that, a relationship therapist. That is the reason why everything partaking relationship and marriage, I contribute. When it comes to relationship and marriage, I cannot mind my business, because I'm a woman who sees a lot of things that happen behind closed doors. The only time I can mind my business is when your matter do not come out publicly. What I put out is my opinion, because sometimes when I see a certain story in public, they are very relatable. They take me back to my story. They take me back to my past, and they remind me of how I survived the same pain. I'm not a clout chaser. I feel I'm famous already. I'm just lending my voice. I'm just a woman who wants to lend her voice, and I'm going to give it to you by force. Because even as a child, it is not everything that your child likes that you give to your child. You cannot keep giving your child ice cream just because children love ice cream. Sometimes you're going to hold them down and feed them bitter leaf with apple and egusi soup. Exactly. Sometimes true love is that person that forces you and give you that thing that you want. Example, when your child is sick, they don't want to go to the hospital. As a mother and as a father, you hold your child down and watch the nurse and the injection. And watch the nurse and the doctor inject your child. It doesn't mean you don't love the child. Don't forget, your child will be screaming. Your child, when you go to the hospital, you'll be seeing children screaming. Now their mama hold them down. Now their papa hold them down. Doesn't mean they don't love them. Letter to Tonto Dike. Tonto, I'm not a cloud chaser. I'm a bold woman like you. If I'm not bold, I will not call your name. Tonto, if I'm not bold, I will be gossiping with your name. Just the way all those your celebrity friends, your fellow acting people are gossiping with your name. I'm bold. A lot of people will say, why didn't you reach out to Tonto privately? I don't have a phone number. I don't know Tonto. Never met her before. The same way you are hearing about Tonto on the internet is the same way I'm hearing about her. I cannot be sending DM to somebody I don't know. So the easiest way I can reach out to Tonto is just by talking on social media. Unfortunately, when I talk, a lot of people are going to learn from Tonto's story, because Tonto Dike's story is relatable. Tonto Dike's story is my story. That's why I cannot mind my business. Whenever I see her on the internet, I remember where I'm coming from. I'm going to use myself as an example on this live video before we even start to talk about Tonto. I'm a woman who got married at the age of, who started dating at the age of 15. I got married at the age of 18, 19. I gave a man my youth. I gave him everything. Many of you have often heard me talk about my ex. In fact, I became famous the very first day I talked about my story about domestic violence. That was the day I went viral. I became famous when I came out and talked about my failed marriage. It wasn't the Onyeze drama. The Onyeze drama was the second film. So a lot of people were wondering, who is this woman that was bold enough to come out and tell us about her failed marriage because I said something a lot of you are hiding. I came out and told the world I was divorced. Nobody knew I was divorced. Everything you hear about Blessing and you know about Blessing is the story that I told them. I told my story publicly. That is the reason why you think you know me or you think you can drag me. Tonto. When I left my ex-husband, I was broken. I felt betrayed. I felt used. I was like, why? Why would this man leave me after everything I gave to him? I was damaged. I was a woman that wanted revenge. When I left my ex-husband, I started living my life for him. I wanted to prove to my ex-husband that I can be loved by another man. I started jumping into different relationships just to seek for validation so that they can love me. So that my ex will see that just because he left me does not mean another man can love me. I remember, I was looking for a man who was far higher than my ex. I wanted a man who had a strong stature in the society so that my ex would understand that I did not go for his level. I went for a higher level. That was the beginning of my doom. I started my relationship journey. I started looking for a rich man, a wealthy man that could beat my ex, a more handsome man because my ex-husband was very handsome, very cute. If you see my first son, that's my ex. I was looking for a man to beat him physically, potentially, everything. And I kept falling into the wrong hands. I got a lot of politicians that said that they loved me. But each time I get into the relationship, they use me. They were taking advantage of my vulnerability. Because every time I get into the relationship, I tell them how my ex abused me. Guess what? They will repeat the same abuse. They never gave me anything good. They saw that I was a desperate woman who was seeking for validation in a man. So they treated me even worse than my ex treated me. I started regretting. At some point, I was now saying, why don't I go back to my ex? Because a lot of men even treated me worse than my ex. Yes, I went back to go and beg my ex-husband. That's the story many of you don't know. I went back to beg my ex. Because when I got out there, I saw that all these men, they are all the same. Oh. My ex was even better than most of them. I said, whoa. I rushed back to go and beg my ex. My ex said he cannot marry me again. He's not doing it again. I said, whoa, I don't die. I was damaged. I was seeking for validation. I needed somebody to love me, to prove a point. I needed people to understand that I'm not mad. I'm not stupid. Can someone just help me and love me? I rushed to different men and they kept damaging me. Guess what? I kept repeating the same thing I did with my ex. I was a damaged woman. So I met this guy that genuinely loved me in one of the relationships I was running, but I couldn't be loved. I kept comparing him to my ex. If he tried to correct me, I would say that is how my ex used to talk. I was bleeding on this guy who was loving me. I didn't even understand the meaning of love. So if you are giving me love, I don't even see it as love. At that point, I was seeing a man who gives me love as a weak man. Because I had met a lot of toxic men in my life, I now began to think that if you don't beat me, you are not a man. There was a time I was in a relationship with somebody for 3 months and he did not beat me. And I told him, you are not a man. I told him, touch me. You are a coward. If you cannot hit a woman, you're not a man. I told a man that did not beat me for 3 months. Because the toxicity, the damage have made me feel that the only way you can be a man is when you hit a woman. I pushed this guy to the wall. At some point, there was a day I took a knife and told the guy, I will kill you. The guy said, there is nothing you will do that will make me touch you. He said, I told him, you are a coward. You are a coward. He said, Blessing, you need to hear. I saw every man who came into my life like a fight. It was a battle for me. I fought men, even those that loved me. The day the guy wanted to leave me, I begged, I cried. He said, Blessing, I'm not leaving you because I don't love you. I'm leaving you because you need to heal. You are damaged. And if you don't heal, you are going to break everything that you love, including your children. There are some women that are damaged. And they damage their children because they've not healed. They are treating his child the way his ex is treating him. Some of us have damaged the things we love because we've not healed. This is not clouds. This is real. This is my story. And I'm not ashamed to talk about it. We have lost a lot of good things in our life because we refuse to heal. Even our children. You see yourself treating your child. My first son is the carbon copy of my ex-husband. If I did not heal, I probably would have killed my son by now because he's the replica of his father. For every time, I always tell myself, Tonto, your son is the replica of his father. So you must heal, you must forgive him if you want to love your son. I had to forgive my ex to be able to love my son. I couldn't love my son without forgiving him because he was his father. My first son walks like his father. My first son sits like his father. My first son, sometimes when my first son is looking at me, I'll say, Jesus, you are a carbon copy of your dad. I see my ex-husband every day in my house. I feed my ex-husband. My ex-husband is my son. He's his replicate. And let's talk about gene. He took some little gene of his father. I cannot change the fact that my son is from Edo State. No matter how much I want to hate Edo men. What about gene? What about those inborn traits that our children know? Some people are wicked to you because all they got was wickedness. They were not born wicked because they did not heal. So they will be replicating the things that they got. That's what is called being damaged. Most of us are damaged. If you don't heal, you will never get love. The problem is not the man. The problem is not the woman. The problem is the fact that you are damaged. You are broken into pieces. And if you do not gather your pieces, you can never find love.